everyone, it's Kat and I'm back today to conclude my project pan for the year. This was actually quite a successful project pan. I'm quite happy with the results. So I'm going to go through the products, tell you obviously what I used up, what I've got a little bit of use left on, what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to declutter. What I'm also going to do at the end is tell you exactly how many products I used up in this project. It's a big deal because it's a full makeup project pan, and these majority of them were full-size products. Some were massive, like the powders, like this, massive. So in my last update, which was in November, I did talk about trimming the fat with this project. So I did take out, I think, a highlighter, a powder. I tried to sort of narrow it down to things that I'm actually potentially going to use up. I did use up a few things. One was my concealer, so my Natasha Denona concealer. This one I've scraped, I've taken the stopper out. It is completely, not completely empty, but virtually empty. I really like this concealer. Now I am almost out of concealers. What that means is at my makeup desk at the moment, I have no concealers. I've been using no concealers for the past like week or so since using this up. I do have, I think, a Maybelline concealer floating around a handbag, like a touch-up concealer. So I will probably try to pan that next year, but I'm on the hunt for a good concealer. I really like this Natasha Denona one, but I want to try a different one before I go back to it. So if you have any good recommendations for sort of like long wear but not too creasy, blah blah blah, let me know. I also used up my last Hourglass Confession lipstick. Not my last one in my collection, but the last one that I had earmarked for this project. So I had 4 that I was working on this year. This one is I Can't Live Without, and it's the berry. Could I have used up a berry in that time? It was hard. It is summer. Everything is like hot and berries don't always work. This one did. I was wearing it and it did break off. So I didn't use it entirely. I wore it down quite a lot. I think I even used it as a blush a few times this month, but it did end up breaking off. So that one is done. I also used up my little Urban Decay eyeliner. So it looks like there's a bit there, but I actually can't sharpen it anymore. And what I mean by that is when I put it in the sharpener and I try to twist it, it just doesn't grip enough to twist. So I'm going to call that done. That's the best I can do, and I'm happy with that. I also used up my mixed powder. So this was the mix of the translucent setting powder by Laura Mercier and the glow version. So I've got a lot left of the glow version. I think I'm just going to get rid of this, to be fair. I think I'm going to declutter it. There is no way I'm going to be able to use this. It's like a gold tinted highlighter essentially. Firstly, it's too yellow for me as a highlighter, and I could only use it mixed and I don't like it that much. So I'm probably going to declutter this, but I did use up the rest. A couple of things that I almost used up, but I'm going to consider them done. One is my brow gel from Benefits. This is the 24-hour brow setter. I've had this for too long and it feels like there's nothing in there. Yes, there is still product that comes out. I'm done. I think this is enough. I'm going to call it done. I've been working on it all year. Also, this one, this is a primer. This is the Hydrablur primer by Dermalogica. There is not much left in this, to the point that I don't think it will make it to another project pan. So if I squeeze out all the air, there's just this portion done here. So I'm going to consider this one done. Not even that, there's more air in there. So I'm going to consider this done, and in the next like week, it's going to be used up. So this is not going to make it to Project Pan 2025. Interestingly enough, in my last video, I mentioned taking out the Laura Geller powder foundation because I wanted to focus on the loose powder. I used up the loose powder fairly quickly, and then I went back to the Laura Geller one. So even though I said I was going to incorporate this next year, I actually have hit a lot of pan on it, and there's just a little bit left around the edges. So I use this to set my base. It's not the best setting powder, it's just that it's there, so I've been using it. But like, look at that. So it's not done, but again, this amount is only like a few days worth of use. It's not going to make it into my 2025 one, so I'm going to consider this done. I have been taking a break from my MAC paint pot. So Born to Beam, I think I've used it once maybe a couple times this last month. This is halfway done. There's a big dent in it, but it's like, I don't really want to use it at the moment, so I'm not going to. I don't know what to do with it. I don't dislike it enough to declutter it. I also think the formulation is holding up really well over time. So this is going to sit in a drawer for a while, and then we're going to decide what to do with it down the track. My MAC lipstick, the glossy cherry red, whatever one, I don't know where that is. That is the theme of this year's project pan is lost lipsticks. And the problem is that I can either have them on my desk when I'm getting ready and be like, I'll just put on the lipstick in the morning and then not reapply throughout the day, and then I know where they are. But when I decide that, oh, I want to get more progress out of this, I will bring it with me and I'll reapply throughout the day. That's when it gets lost in a pocket or a bag or something. And that's where that one currently is. I even tried to put on my cheeks at some point. So I was trying, but I haven't seen it for a week and I'm not going to stress about it, but it will pop back up and it'll be next year's problem. All right, these. Oh, I should have actually mentioned this one. This one is so problematic. So my cheek palette from Natasha Denona. So this is the Bloom Blush and Glow palette. What have I done with it? So I'll have a reminder of where I was up to last month, and technically I'm going to say this is done. Technically I'm going to say it's done. I used up the 2 powder products. So one was a highlighter and one was a sort of glowy blush. I enjoyed using them. They were great. I have not touched these for a while. I've not touched them for a good month, so let's not talk about those. Do I consider this 2 products? I don't know. It's 2 pans. They could be standalone, a blush each or highlighter and a blush, whatever. But that's a huge achievement. I'm very proud of myself. So that one I only finished a couple days ago, actually. So my custom Too Faced palette, which is causing me a lot of drama. I haven't used this too much recently, to be fair. I've sort of gotten a bit sick of it, but I have used up one entire pan. So that was just, oops a daisy, oh, on my dress, great, thank you. These pans fall out all the time and it's infuriating. As soon as I finish this video, this is going in the bin because I've had enough. But as you can see on the screen, the comparison photos, I do think some of the pans have slightly gotten bigger, but the second shade down is the one that I entirely finished up. But yeah, what did I learn from this? I use really basic eyeshadows, and even though I've got some really cool ones in here, I don't really feel like using them at the moment. I would consider keeping this pink one because it's this awesome sort of duochrome. It's got like, I don't know if you can see it in the corner, but it's like shifts gold. It's like pink to gold. It's really, really pretty. There it is, swatch of the hand. Anyway, I have a cheek product, like a big cheek product that looks very similar. So I'm going to get rid of all of this, and this annoys the absolute crap out of me. So I'm going to consider that I finished one eyeshadow. Even though I've got this giant palette, even though I've made some good progress on some of the shades, I'm just going to count that as one eyeshadow has been done. And this is going straight in the bin. So all up, I have used 51, possibly 52 if you consider the Natasha Denona blushes as separate things. 51 or 52 items, and it's a huge deal because they're all makeup items. They're not little mini samples. Some of them were mini things occasionally, I think, but most of them were like legit full-size products, and makeup is very hard to use up. When you start incorporating foot creams and body creams and random stuff, you can sort of get a lot more like usage out of it, but we know that makeup takes a lot of time. So I think I have not brought in 51 or 52 pieces of makeup in my collection this year, so I am on the path to minimizing my collection, which is fantastic. So I'm happy. What I'm going to be doing next year is a very similar thing. I really like this format. I get good results from it. You can do your project pans however you want. You can do small projects where you focus on certain things. There's a lot of like different challenges going around. I recommend if you're thinking of getting into project panning in 2025, definitely do some research. Have a play around with some different, watch some different video formats to see what works for you. For me, having like one full face like worth of makeup in a bag or in a tub that I can reach for every day is where I get most progress from. And giving myself periodic little times where I can take things out if I don't enjoy it and swap it out for something new. I feel like that keeps things fresh and interesting. But I will continue to do project panning next year. I will at some point do a live chat where I'll be talking through some options that I might want to be focusing on and getting your feedback. So I will keep you posted about when that's going to happen. I am actually considering possibly pulling back very slightly with project panning next year. So not expecting as much progress, simply because I've noticed that I'm trying to think of my favorite products of the year and all I think of is using project pan products. So I feel like I need to balance it a bit better, but I've had a very successful year and I'm happy with what I've done. So let me know how you went with your project pan this year. If you're planning on doing one next year, what kind of rules and things are you going to be doing? I love to know the different formats that people choose and why. Thank you so much for watching, and a big thank you to my members for supporting my channel this year, and I'll see you soon.